I am really excited for our next panel, True Beauty. We're gonna have 3 extraordinary women up here talking about how they're using their platform and their social influence to challenge and to just change these rigid mainstream beauty standards that we have been subscribing to for God knows how long. So the 3 women, the first one is Mama Cax. She is a model, motivational speaker, and body positive advocate, and she has definitely played a huge role in shifting how people with disabilities are seen in mainstream media and just in the world in general. We also have Arshia Morjani. She is an amazing fashion and beauty vlogger who uses her platform to not only embrace her Indian heritage, but to encourage others to embrace what makes them unique as well. And then we also have active actress and journalist Raval Davis. You've probably seen her in a bunch of different places like CNN and BET, where she hosts the talk show Don't Touch My Hair. She delivers great unfiltered opinions with grace and style, of course. So we're gonna be having those 3 ladies up here to talk about what they're doing to push the conversation forward. And our moderator will be Kathleen Ho, and she is the beauty director for New York Magazine's The Cut. So let's give it up for all 4 of them.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate it. And we're excited to be BlogHer's only beauty panel. Yes. So I thought we'd start today by first going around and having everyone talk about what true beauty means to them, which is the name of the panel after all.
Hello everyone, I'm Mama Cax, or you can call me Cax. I'm a blogger, I'm a model, I'm an advocate, so basically advocating for more inclusion in the fashion industry. And it's always hard to talk about what true beauty means because it means different things to different people, but I do a lot of body positive meetups, and what I always have people do is write down 5 things they hate about themselves or they wish they could change, and 5 things they love. Usually, those 5 things they hate, it's usually very similar. Belly, stretch marks, all that kind of stuff. And the things they love, it's always their creativity, their sense of style. So the things they love usually have nothing to do with the physical, body. So what I always say is that true beauty is what they can't take away from you. So whether it's your creativity, how kind you are, how you navigate your space, all the things they can't take away from you are those things that make you beautiful.
Hi everyone, my name is Arshia Morjani, and I am a beauty, lifestyle, fashion, everything blogger. My goal with my platform is really to showcase diversity, and I never really saw anyone that looked like me on social media growing up, on TV, anywhere in media, so I really want to be that person for anyone that looks remotely like me. So that's why I got started. And to me, true beauty truly means to be your most authentic self. For the longest time, especially being on social media, you get so caught up with looking at other people and comparing your life to other people. I was trying to be like others. And I realized when I stopped doing that, that's when I felt the most beautiful. And that, it was just me living my authentic life, so.
That's good. Authenticity. Hi, I am Raval Davis. How are you all? You look beautiful. Hey. So my definition of true beauty is really just being able to see and recognize the God in me, and then also being able to see and recognize the God in others, right? So I just believe that God created each one of us. We're individuals, we are specific, we were designed by God. And so that is really beautiful when you can accept that and own that whatever that flaw is, whatever that thing is you don't love, God designed that about you and it's perfect. That's true beauty.
That's great. Now, how do you guys try to reflect true beauty in using your platforms? How do you guys try to use your platforms to reflect true beauty and what you see it as?
So for me, using social media as a way to empower young women to embrace themselves started because as a teenager, I was diagnosed with bone and lung cancer. And from then on, I had a series of surgery that left me with so many scars, an amputated leg. And I just had so much problem like accepting myself. And that sort of led me to having like suicidal thought and depression. And I just felt like there had to be, so many other women were experiencing those things, whether they had gone through cancer or they just were not, ready to accept their bodies. So I feel like in that way, I started using my platform to get in touch with those people. So what I always say I do is I couldn't do anything about what happened to me. I didn't have a say about how my future would be, but what I can do is use my story to empower other women.
I'll jump in. I use my platform just also to just share my story and connect with other women. My story is very much that I had a whole corporate career and I always wanted to be an actress, and I didn't see anybody on TV that looked like me, and I just thought I couldn't do it. And that was reinforced by a woman who ran an acting program that I went to. And she was right when she said, you're black, you're curvy, it's gonna be difficult for you to get work because there are not a lot of actresses that look like that. And I really believed that for like 10 years. I had a whole corporate career. I said, I'm not gonna do this acting thing, I won't be able to eat. And so, 10 years later, Orange is the New Black came out. It was like, hey, we're curvy, we're brown, we're everything that they said we're not supposed to be. So I had to look at that limiting belief that I had and really look into it. And I shared that story on my socials. I shared that story, I wrote a story for Essence.com. And so many women connected with it. It was amazing, that there's so many other women that feel the same way. And you're like, yes, we. And so, yeah, just using your platform as connection. That's I feel like what I've done. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going back to what I said earlier, just being your authentic self. And social media, again, you can get so caught up with it. Even as an influencer myself, you can get so caught up in thinking the other person's life is perfect, or they're living this fabulous life, and then you're just in your apartment, doing nothing. So I really do try to show the real side of what it really actually even takes to, take a picture. If you go on my Instagram now, I have a lot of Instagram versus reality. I make it a joke, but I do that a lot because I really want to show people that, what you see is not exactly what's, behind the scenes. Yeah.
Now, I know that you guys all talked a lot about how important it is to connect with your audience and connect with people. Was there a particular, I guess what Oprah calls it, an aha moment where you were like, this is really working and I really am connecting with people, and what was that moment?
You mean on social media where you had that aha moment?
I have one.
Go ahead.
I think it was definitely when I got, repetitive comments from men and women out there saying that they went and purchased a beauty product that I recommended that worked for their skin tone. So that's such an important message behind my channel as well. I use products that work for my skin tone, and when people actually purchase it and they tell me it works, that's when I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm actually doing something right here.
For me, I have them all the time. I feel like I post a lot of quotes, which don't always get the most likes, but always get the most comments and engagement. And so the other day I posted something something that I said to myself in the mirror in my bathroom. And I think I said something like, why doubt yourself? You're a prayer in the flesh. And I said, some other things. And oh my goodness, people just really responded to that. And I think it's just, like you're saying, being your authentic self. That's something, I really say stuff to myself in the mirror in my bathroom to help me start my day and get through my day. So I think sharing that, there were just so many comments, men, women, just everybody was just like, yes, and with all the A's and the S's, yes, which I love to see that, so yeah.
I think for me, it's probably seeing that with a lot of my blog posts or even like posts on Instagram, that it's always like a learning experience for my audience. Like I'm teaching them things about the disability community that they didn't know before. Or one of my favorite example, I guess I have so many. It's hard to choose. My favorite one is probably when I started blogging about travels. And a lot of times we talk about diversity. Disability is never one that people kind of like factor in. And for me, I wanted to use that platform to sort of like talk to people about how traveling can be possible for someone who has a disability or ways to do it. So I think that's been a way I've been able to connect with my audience. But sometimes it's just like talking about how, you know, your assistive devices, whether it's like a cane or crutches or hearing aid, they don't have to be boring. They can be fashionable. So it was sort of like connecting with my audience to say that anyone can be part of fashion. Anyone can be, anyone should be part of fashion because it's a way to express yourself. So I think that's one way that I connect with my audience.
Saoirse, you mentioned that oftentimes on Instagram, things can seem perfect, and I think that's something that a lot of people feel. You know, you'll be scrolling through the feed and you'll think that, oh, that person's life looks so great. In light of that, do you guys feel like Instagram is hindering or advancing the way that we define beauty standards today?
It's a little bit of both. It depends on what corner of Instagram you're in, because we all probably have a different explore page, and your explore page is basically curated by what you're liking, what you're looking at, which is why I think it's important to just not follow certain accounts. But you still have those people on Instagram who have this highly curated, everything seems perfect, but then you have people who are very authentic and talk about, you know, what's happening in their lives and just trying to be their true selves. So I would say it's a little bit of both. And sometimes being authentic on social media, you get called out also. Sometimes people will tell you it's too much information. So you have to know like the right balance of it, I'd say. But for me, even though everything is like nicely curated, because aesthetics is goal when you're like a blogger and such, but I think it's all in the words. Like, what do you decide to talk about? What do you decide to tackle?
For me, I am one of those people who sometimes I have to take a break from social for this reason. Because I have so many amazing like contemporaries, friends. Like, you know, I look at what these women are doing, what so many other influencers are doing, and then just I look at them and I'm like, oh, she's so beautiful. Oh, she's here. She's traveling there. And I think sometimes you just have to like unplug, you know? You have to unplug a little bit. And one thing I always do is I always remind myself that I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Like, I just always say that, right? Come on, yes, come on, church, yes. Fearfully and wonderfully made. And I think it's so, you just have to remind yourself when you're looking at those things, you know, of who you are and, you know, the divinity in you, right? Yeah.
I totally agree with what you say. There's also a really great side of Instagram as well that I don't think people talk about either. I've discovered so many incredible people, so many talented people on Instagram. So there's that side as well. I think it's just what you focus on. If you're going to just constantly compare yourself, that's what you're going to do. But then if you try to look for something that inspires you, you'll find that as well. I find that every single day on Instagram. Yeah. And it's also really important to you know, be very cautious of who you're following. If someone is, for whatever reason, bringing you down, simply just unfollow them. I literally declutter my follows all the time. If someone doesn't inspire me, I just unfollow them. So make sure to do that as well. It's just really good for your mental health also.
Yeah. What do you do if the person that's not inspiring you is someone that you know?
If someone,
You stay away as much as possible.
Unfollow them too. Block them. Do not be afraid to use the block. I say this all the time.
Or mute. You can
block, mute, all of it.
Yeah,
use
so I was going to say mute, yeah.
Mute button is a gift. You guys mentioned, obviously, aesthetics are important, and it's kind of the reason that a lot of people double click or like. How do you kind of maintain that that balance of like, I want this picture to look good, but you also want to remain like true and authentic?
For me, it's like wanting something to look good is authentic to me because I'm this kind of person who nitpicks my content. I want it to look a certain way, and I know I do it for myself, you know? But on the other hand, if you're blogging and it's part of, your job, the importance of having, a page that's well curated. And for me, it doesn't take much time because that's part of what I do. So yeah, I always say it's okay to filter your pictures, but don't filter your emotions. So that's kind of like what I live by. My words are always true. But yeah, sometimes I have to take the train for an hour to get the picture I want. But, it doesn't take away from the message that I'm sending.
In the moment when I was trying to be like other people, I spent so much money hiring photographers because I thought that's what I needed to do to have more engagement or whatever. And then I realized that that wasn't me. So now I just shoot almost 90%, 99% of my content, except for videos, on my iPhone, and that just feels me. Like that just feels like me. It's very close to who I am. So again, it's just like what makes you feel comfortable, what's real to you, just follow that.
Yes, I say, do what makes you happy, do what makes you feel comfortable. When you see a picture of yourself or whatever, if you look at it and you connect with it and you say, I was feeling good, I was looking good right there, then yes, that's it. And people will connect with that. And I'm not a person who feels like, oh, we have to connect with, I need 1 million people to like this. If, 50 of my friends or 25 of my friends or 10 of my friends are like, yes, girl, you wearing that dress, or whatever. Or if I just feel like I look good here or I was feeling how I was feeling, then that's the goal for me,
How do you guys think about something like followers or likes? Like if you post something and it's not getting maybe the same amount of followers or likes that you normally have, what kind of feelings do you feel, and how do you kind of get yourself out of that worry of being like, oh, someone didn't like what I posted?
I feel like, is Instagram broken? Because it's not me. It can't be us. It's not us, right? Instagram must be broken. And listen, there are comment pods. I have friends who we just like each other's stuff all the time. I will text my friend like, go ahead and like my picture. Go ahead and like it. And they'll go like it, and then they'll text me back like, girl, that's a good picture. And then, people start liking it. So, it is what it is.
Yeah, I think it probably goes back to what you said. I always check to see if my friends like it. Yes. Or like my crush. If my crush likes it, then I'm like, okay, it's good enough.
That's a win. If the crush likes it, it's a win.
And we have like a sister's group page, like a group chat, and I always, I text them, I'm like, so I see you guys didn't like my picture. I feel like that's mostly important than everyone else, know? But anyone who says they don't care about the likes, who's in this business, they're lying, because, you get something from it, Yes. And it's also, if you're putting that kind of work, then you expect, even if it's not for the like, you expect some sort of engagement, people to be commenting, knowing that they actually went to the blog to read it. So not every day is the same, but I also realize that maybe it's the time that some people are disconnecting for the day, because sometimes I do that myself, Sometimes I'm just like, I'm not going to go on social media, I'm not liking anything. Or I'm just scrolling but not liking stuff so that people don't know that I'm on there. So, yeah.
Yes.
I completely agree with you, because I'm always like, is it me? Like, what happened here? But I actually not always like every single picture I see on Instagram either. So yes, it's hard not to take it personally and obsess over it, but it's just like, at the end of the day, it's just Instagram. It's all good. No big deal.
Right. So we're luckily at a time now where a lot of companies are valuing diversity and inclusivity, and I think they're seeing that translates a lot to consumers and it's what they want. What kind of work would you like them to do even more? What kind of strides forward do you want them to make?
In terms of brands?
In terms of just like representing beauty, in terms of what it is, and where do you want them to go and kind of move the needle forward?
So back in October, I got signed with a modeling agency, so I started modeling, and I've been doing different sort of modeling. Sometimes it's makeup, athletic wear, just different things in general. And I'm often part of panels where they're talking about diversity and the idea of tokenism. And I always say, it always seems like it starts off as a trend or visibility as opposed to representation. So it's this idea that a lot of brands or just different blogs or anyone who's kind of like talking about diversity, they want to show they have different kinds of people in a campaign. But a lot of times there's not a lot of thought behind it. So that's why sometimes you have a makeup brand that has like different shades of women and they do represent like a dark woman, but when you look at their product, there's actually no foundation that actually matches that person. Yeah. And even for me, when I go on shoot sometimes, I go on set, sometimes I don't have an outfit that fits me. They hand me like a size 4 when I'm a size 10, low-key a size 12. And I literally always have my foundation in my bag. Like, I don't know any black models that go on set without their foundation. Yeah. So how it works, you get your makeup done, you're like, oh my God, it looks so nice, thank you so much. And you go in the bathroom, wash your face, and do it all over again. Yep. Because I can't be looking 3 shades lighter, than when I came in. So unfortunately, that's a lot of what I see now. And yeah, there are brands that actually preach what they speak. So a lot of the times they do have some of their staff who understand diversity, who are representative of what they put in their campaign. And that's how you know when it's authentic, when it's also happening behind the scenes. But yeah, so there's a lot of visibility, but not enough representation. Mm-hmm.
So I have this conversation at almost every meeting with brands directly. I'm always like the go-to Indian, girl in beauty, and I wish it wasn't like that. Brands are now looking at diversity as a trend, and it's not a trend. I've always been Indian. I'm always going to be Indian. And I wish they understand that. And all of us, we are always going to look like this. There's a couple of things. Like, I would love to see multiple Indian girls or multiple girls that look like you in a campaign. I've never really seen that done from any brand. And the biggest thing is behind the scenes, exactly what you said, because I truly believe diverse people create diverse products because they understand our needs. So I would really like to see that as well.
I definitely would love to see different body types in beauty campaigns, right? Like, I feel like, yeah, right? Can we see some different bodies? In beauty, it's like you see, diversity has become a trend in beauty, right? So now they have we'll have the token dark-skinned girl, we'll have the token Indian girl, we'll have the token this, right? There's more representation here and there. But when you talk about body types and curves or squares or whatever shape you want to call it, can we see just more real women in beauty campaigns? Can I see a real woman on a billboard in Times Square with her fabulous lipstick on? Can I see that? Can I see a real woman? Because that's what I relate to. Definitely that. Also, totally agree with you. As an actress, this happens to me all the time. I always have my foundation in my bag. Like, you cannot go on set without your foundation. And I did mess up one time and I didn't bring hair gel with me. I didn't bring my proper hair stuff with me. That's a whole other thing. It's like, don't get to set and not have your proper hair stuff and you got natural hair. I mean, I'm like, where is the closest Target, Walmart, Sally Beauty, something? So, because the woman on set was just not equipped to do my hair. And it's crazy. This is such a crazy story because it was a commercial I was shooting for, and they literally had a meeting. They went and had a meeting about my hair in the back because the woman wasn't prepared to do my hair. And they came back with a solution, and they said, well, we're going to switch your role with this other woman. And they literally switched our roles because of my hair, okay? Because she was not equipped to do my hair. And I'm like, I'm sitting there talking to her, I'm like, girl, we can do this. Now listen, this is what you need to do. Like it was something very simple, like she needed to put my hair in a ponytail so I could swing it for the commercial. I'm like, I can do it. I just didn't bring, the gel and the toothbrush to get the edges and stuff, But like we can go around the corner to the store and get it. But she was so afraid of my hair. And so it's in front of the camera, it's the billboards, but it's also what goes on behind the scenes too, just like that education. And I don't fault her because she never had to do that before, right? So yeah, that.
So we talked about true beauty. What do you guys see as a wrap up? What is untrue beauty?
Untrue beauty.
Yeah.
Inauthenticity, yeah, that's a word, right? Okay. Just not being yourself. Being someone else, pretending, that is not true beauty.
How can you tell when you're not being yourself?
Ooh, how can you tell? I think you just feel it. I think it happens sometimes when, you meet other people and you feel like you need to put on a facade for them or something like that, and you just feel weird. You feel a little strange, and you need to connect with yourself, connect with the God in you, and come back to one. You got to do it. Take a deep breath. That even talking about that in authenticity makes me like breathe shallow. I need to take a deep breath after that.
Because I guess for me specifically, when I talk about beauty, I always say that it's confidence. It's comfort, and a lot of the times I catch myself like wearing high heels when I'm not even comfortable, just to look a certain way or just to follow a trend, and I'm like, oh, you can't even walk in these shoes. So I think for me, following a trend when I know it doesn't suit me, that's when I would say I'm not kind of like being my true self, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Same thing, just being not your true self. Once you embrace who you truly are, you will be your happiest. And I can tell you guys this from experience. So try it. Just be yourself.
Yes, so good.
Great. Well, thank you everyone so much for coming, and thank you to all of our amazing panelists.